I want you to get together.
Hello everyone. You know, I feel I've spent so long looking at the aesthetical similarities of folk traditional demonic representations all over the earth that I feel I may have neglected the more modern popular culture and its representations of the clown, and by proxy, the Nephilim spirits the clown symbolises. Yes, that's right, if you're new to my work, I believe, and have spent the past 7 years attempting to prove that what we call a clown in the West is in fact a purposefully co-opted and moulded symbol used by the occult to represent the spirits of the disembodied Nephilim who once roamed the ancient world. Just like those who use it in ancient folk traditional rituals know and make no denial of, the multicoloured garb that often depicts clown-like aesthetics is a tool for the purpose of channeling the spirits into our world. The costume is worn to be possessed by the spirits which these older cultures call ancestors. But they aren't talking about their great aunties and uncles. They're talking about the ancient progenitors of the pagan civilizations, the Nephilim. This old folk practice never really changed as it developed into the modern Western world. We just don't realise that's what its purpose is for anymore. Because for us, clowns are just silly, and for children. And the channeling capabilities of the costume is now an occult secret. The secret, in fact, that is utilised by performers within every art industry who have been initiated into the occult. For the purpose of fame, wealth, veneration, and invocation, they dress themselves up like psychedelic clown monsters. Unfortunately, it's not easy to summarise this 32-chaptered book, which I'm currently writing, by the way, into a paragraph, so I suggest you watch some other of the 42 episodes I've created on the theory to catch up. For the past month, I've been inundated with requests to cover the latest internet animation sensation called the Amazing Digital Circus. As I'm writing this, the show's pilot episode has 134 million views and has likely jumped up significantly as I'm recording this audio. The animation is created and directed by an animator called Gooseworks for a channel called Glitch on YouTube. The episode depicts a young woman who suddenly manifests in an artificial world inhabited with a cast of wacky characters in a circus-themed setting. We are very quickly made aware that these characters are human beings who have put on a virtual reality headset and have become stuck in the wacky funhouse reality for eternity, with no way to escape. The realm they are stuck in is controlled by an AI named Cain, who appears to try his best to maintain the sanity of the trapped people by creating frivolous tasks and entertainments for them to distract their minds away from the daunting reality they face. However, he appears to be incapable of fully empathizing with what it means to be human and powerless in this realm. So the comedy arises from his outrageous misunderstandings and wacky solutions to the fear and insanity they suffer from daily. In terms of relating this to my Nephilim look like clowns theory, I feel there's no need for me to give a full breakdown of the entire pilot, and offer any theories pertaining to the hidden lore of this fictional universe, as many have already obsessively done this in true sycophant fashion. Yes, I see the checkerboard floor pattern, a clear spirit world and Freemason reference. The lead AI being called Cain is an obvious biblical reference, and the entire concept of jester-like spirits being trapped in a matrix similar to that of a circus is certainly on the nose when it comes to parallels of my own understanding that the disembodied spirits of the now dead Nephilim, who looked like clowns, reside in a fractaled psychedelic carnival-styled matrix called the astral realm or spirit realm. Another thing I found worthy of note is that the clown character was only seen in a dark, many-eyed, monstrous form, as he was said to have abstracted. This happens to those who have been in the simulation for so long that they have completely lost their sense of self and mind. Symbolically speaking, and going by my own theory that a clown is a symbolic reference to the Nephilim of the ancient past, this clown essentially dying in one form and turning into a demonic monstrous form as a result is parallel to the story of the clown-like Nephilim dying and their disembodied spirits becoming psychedelic demonic entities. But I highly doubt the creators considered any of these things when creating the animation themselves. Though it's fun to imagine that they may have seen my work and been inspired to copy the themes into a fictionalized animation, I believe this is simply a product of the times and nothing more. I certainly don't feel any need to go too deep into the specifics of this one piece of artwork. You can watch it for yourself and make your own assertions. But what I do want to talk about is how this show's appearance does appear to be another example of the clown and circus themed media that has arisen over the past decade into the zeitgeist of humanity. And 2023 is certainly the apex year of the clown. Now, this isn't without a build-up of media momentum, of course. I won't be beginning this exploratory timeline from the CIA's insertion of the psychedelic 60s counterculture today, but I'm aware the push for clown iconography through the media began then and was extremely prevalent in the 80s. But that would require a whole video of its own. So this video will only be looking at the past 10 years, because something exponential seems to be happening in this particular period when it comes to the public externalization of the Nephilim clown. In 2014, we had the release of Clown, a movie that depicts a man putting on the costume of a clown, then becoming possessed by the spirit of a demonic reptile entity known as a clown, unable to take off the costume until he eats 5 children to satisfy the hunger of the demon whose skin he is now wearing. This is quite literally a fictional interpretation of the truth within my theory. Wear the costume, get possessed by demons. Following this, the American Horror Story series released its circus-themed rendition called Freak Show. This brought us Twisty the Clown, a murderous, shamed performer with his inhumane wide grin mask, which hid an equally hideous disfigurement. Only 2 years later did the entire world seem to be turning upside down. American politics was causing division on a scale never before seen, as one side screamed that the other was a clown-like fool, while the other screamed that the opposition is a demonic establishment stooge. The supposed clown won. Make no mistake of my politics, however. To me, it's all Masonic theatre. This coincided with the 2016 clown sightings that caused a media frenzy that scared the populace of the Western world to be on the lookout for creepy clown costume-wearing trolls menacingly standing on street corners, near forest entries, and schools. This event would ironically make McDonald's remove Ronald from the spotlight as their mascot, but the demonic clown trope would only snowball from there. The Terrifier was released this year, depicting a psychotic serial killer clown, brutalizing his victims and starting a cult following online, and in indie film festival circles. October of 2016 would also be when your humble narrator here started this very series you are watching, and first began to fumble together the evidence that the modern image of a Western clown is a purposefully designed caricature of the Nephilim. The following year, in 2017, we were graced with a reboot of Stephen King's It, a lovely story in which every 27 years, a shape-shifting entity known as It crawls out of the sewers to prey on the children of Derry, Maine. This demon plasters himself with an unnatural grin, takes on the form of Pennywise the dancing clown, and feeds off the fear of its victims before cannibalizing them. This particular Halloween was rife with people venerating and channeling the spirit of this particular demon. Yes, 2017 was indeed a clown-heavy year, as American Horror Story made a comeback with more creepy murderous clowns with Cult. This was all happening in the aftermath of the Great Meme War of 2015, in which soldiers of a brave online nation coined the descriptive term Clown World in reaction to the overzealous multicoloured collective and their insane ideologies. Like true clowns, it appears their actions and thought processes were antithetical to basic realities. And as we are all probably aware, this particular cult is a very colourful and clownish looking bunch. This war still rages on to this very day, but I'm not really allowed to talk about them. So let's move on to 2018. The Terrifier had a re-release into 700 American theatres. Riding the wave of the clown horror success from the It reboot, the killer clown was popular once more in the collective psyche of the mainstream, and multiple cheap cash grab films following this trope began to appear. Unfortunately, at this point I had to stop making my series and shut down the channel, due to workplace pressures explained in many other videos. But I continued to watch for 5 years as the world descended into a giant circus. This set the scene perfectly for the sympathetic rendition of The Joker to be released the next year in 2019. Playing off the mainstream collective feeling of injustice and being disenfranchised from society, Arthur Fleck's journey of attempted integration into a society that rejected him, to finally accepting who he is in the form of the murderous and irreverent Joker, seemed apt for the times, with all the financially jaded and politically disillusioned normies and the edgelords of the world. Halloween was rife with those who seeked to don the costume of their new Joker idol, and once more unwittingly channeled the demonic spirits of the Nephilim through their ritualistic garb, as is tradition when the latest version of the Joker manifests. Only a month later in 2019 did Gooseworks release Hell of a Boss, a popular cartoon which literally depicts the demons of hell as clowns and jester-like entities. Funnily enough, the man who made the music for this series also created the Amazing Digital Circus, discussed at the beginning, and he is currently working on the music for Has Been Hotel, in which a clown-looking daughter of Lucifer runs a hotel for demons. The same year, a documentary on Wrinkles the Clown was released, showing the life of a homeless Florida man who is hired to scare misbehaving children by their parents. The 2016 clown sightings were very lucrative for this particular individual. In 2020, clowncore fashion begins, coinciding with lockdowns and the psychological bludgeoning of humanity's sense of normality and ability to see one another as people. Examples of the clown world became all the more obvious during this period, as the absurdity of existence and the corruption of our leaders became more and more apparent. The youth turned to the clown for a sense of levity in their newfound isolation, and social media gave them the outlet to confidently display their own take on the clown. Clowncore TikTok began here. This was also the year Birds of Prey was released in theatres, reviving the Harlequin character in the minds of the general populace. This same year, Big Top Burger is released on YouTube, which depicts a food truck run by clowns, with the last episode implying that the boss, Steve, was a real clown, compared to the human employees who simply apply makeup to look like one. 2021 rolls around and the second Suicide Squad movie is released to maintain that strong leading anti-hero clown role that appeared to becoming the norm now. The runways of fashion began to introduce Harlequin-inspired designs, which was initially met with mixed reviews. This same year, the exclusive invite-only club to the rich and famous, Annabelle's in London, decided to display an enormous clown with its huge maw gaped open around the entrance, in what seemed like an obvious statement of something sinister, rather than simply a bit of fun for Halloween. 2022 saw the release of The Smile movie, in which a many-toothed demon causes those it influences to plaster a creepy wide smile across their face. This very year, Terrifier 2 was released, causing people to pass out in theatres due to its extreme violence and gore. Then this brings us to 2023, starting the year off with the clown aesthetics becoming high legitimate fashion. The runways had begun to lean heavily into the clown motifs, and the reception this time was much warmer than when they attempted it in 2021. And the clowncore TikTok fashion trends were bigger than ever. Indeed, influencers of all types began wearing the ridiculous red Mickey Mouse shoes as a perfectly acceptable choice in footwear, along with the new cheese boots of a similar ilk. We also saw the end of a 33-year-old court case involving a clown who shot a woman dead at her doorstep in front of her child. A woman finally admits to the murder, because doing so would get her out of prison sooner than if she continued to assert her innocence. Then the movie Apocalypse Clown is released, in which an EMP resets humanity and clowns find they are needed in this new apocalyptic realm. A tattooed clown barber in Hollywood is suddenly on the scene to reveal secret insider satanic sex party stories, while professing to be a born-again Christian. The funny one from Friends was mysteriously unalived, along with a WWE wrestler who was known for his clownish persona. A reboot of Twisted Metal, a video game series dating back to 1995, is released, nostalgically reviving the staple murderous clown character of the series, Sweet Tooth. Yes, it appears the prominence of trickster spirits and the clown into our modern society has reached a new height this year. The same year, your narrator decided to return to YouTube and pick up where he left off in 2017. No less. And of course, this video comes full circle. The Amazing Digital Circus came onto the scene at the end of the year, and the masses fell in love. So much so that the perverts of the dark web have obsessively made the main character an object of lust, and the memes pertaining to this are beginning to pour out of 4chan, along with a nice cameo for my theory too. The Amazing Digital Circus, as I said, is a product of the times. And though an impressive piece of artwork, it's nothing special as it pertains to my theory. Its sudden appearance and explosive success comes at the end of a strong decade of clown-themed propaganda, normalizing the image and even encouraging others to embody it themselves. Indeed, many are eagerly awaiting the second installment of The Joker, with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. There are rumours of a third installment of It, and the 80s Killer Clowns from Outer Space movie now has a video game that's about to be released. But you best believe the propaganda does not stop at the screen. I barely scratched the surface here. This video hasn't even mentioned the increase of clown-like costumes and imagery in the music industry, over this past decade in particular. But I have covered this in separate videos. If this analysis piqued your interest in this bizarre topic, and you're curious for more, maybe check them out. Thanks for listening, guys. Please make sure to hit that like button and share this video, and if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Also consider supporting me on Patreon. It really is the best way to help me out, and I post extra bonus content and early access content on there regularly. You can also support the book through the GoFundMe, all links in the description, and I'll be back soon with another video, and of course another installment to this series. As always, God bless.
I want you to get together.